DXB Today with you this evening. Thank you very much indeed for partnering with us because the presenters here on the sofa are feeling, well, a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. Why? We are surrounded by high achievers at present, and none more so than our next guest, an ultra trail runner and running development coach. He's completed, get this, over 50 ultras from 50k to 300k with several top 5 finishes in local and international events, and he now teaches people the science behind running techniques and running performance as well. Please welcome to the show Coach Lee Harris. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Good to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to come.
Great to have you. I want to talk about you in just a few moments' time. But before that, these two as well. 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 continents. A little bit of madness in there, but something that I'm sure you'd embrace. What advice will you give them?
Look after your bodies. We like to think that it's, strong mind, strong body, but the body looks after the mind, basically, energy-wise. So healthy body, healthy mind, and that'll keep you thinking. Problem solving. If you look after your body, then you'll be able to think, control what you're doing. A lot of people think it's the other way around with reference to the mindset stuff, but when you're running long distances, it's your body that's supplying your energy to your brain, basically.
From a coach perspective, I'm going to get onto your achievements shortly, but when you're speaking to clients and coaching, when you're looking at a challenge like that, does one have to change one's running style or not if you're doing 7 over 7 days, etc.? Does a long distance runner have to approach running in a different way from somebody who would be going out for a run of a weekend or something like that?
Well, it's if you're running long distances, then first of all, you've got to learn how to run. That's the main thing. Yeah. So running is running. But
everyone thinks they can run, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of, our body doesn't know we're running. That's what it's responding to load and sort of mechanical tension. So there's a specific way that the body does it. So you can teach that. We have it when we're younger, but we kind of lose it. You've got to reteach that again. You've got to teach the body to load properly and to land properly and to move properly. And then you can build up the techniques. So learn to run first. And then once you're good at running, then you can just take it wherever you want to go with it. That's what I do. I just take people back and I say, okay, let's teach you how to run. Let's teach you mechanically how to land the load properly to make it safe. And then we can, build up your speed and then your distance and go from there. But
So Coach, that was sound advice that you gave them. Look after the body.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest nutrition-wise when it goes into something like this, but normally as well for runners?
There's a big thing about the carbohydrates and stuff like that, and it's very important. I mean, the body needs to respond very quickly to movement, especially when you're running these distances. So fueling is absolutely crucial. Your body has a limited supply of sort of muscle glycogen. So you're going to have to keep it topped up. Your body's got plenty supply of fat, but unfortunately it doesn't produce force efficiently enough and fast enough, especially for a runner that's hitting the ground repetitively over long distances. So fueling, keeping the body healthy, keeping it lots of energy, going to keep your brain functioning, and then you can problem solve. So we talk about resilience, but that's basically overcoming adversity, so overcoming problems, solving, and you can't do that unless you're thinking properly. So,
what about if you're being chased by a polar bear?
Run. Hard,
Luckily, that's in the North Pole.
Lee, I wanted to ask you about how did you get into ultra trail running?
I've been kind of running all my life, but it's never really, I never really looked at it as a sport. It's been part of other sports. I was always good at it as a youngster. I obviously ran cross country and long distance runs from schools and stuff like that. But I used it for other sports. But when it was a colleague of mine that I was working with, he was training for the Marathon des Sables back in 2009. And I was helping him with his strength work and we were running. And I was at a time in my life where I wanted to do something that was not just physically challenging, but mentally challenging as well. Something that took me outside, connected. I'm an outdoor person. And he was like, mate, why don't you do one of these? And I was like, okay, let's have a look at it. Did the research. And I'm a person that, once I get inside, I research it. So, it was just like, once I found the mountains here, because I had a bit more muscle back then as well. I got, into some lifting and I used the mountain bike. So the mountain bikers showed me where the mountains were. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is, and then I was just hooked completely. It's a skill set. And I spent, I think, 2 years training before I even took on my first event. But I've been hooked ever since.
One of the things that we learnt about as we started getting into endurance sports, one of the first things you find out about is this idea of zone 2 training, which is low tempo, low heart rate. For me it's about 130, but doing a huge amount of your training, maybe 80%, at a very calm level, which is against everything that I've trained for before, which was always, raise your heart rate, train hard. Do you train a lot on that, and what's the science behind it?
I'm probably going to open a can of worms here big time.
Right, too. That's what we're here for.
The bottom line is, it's easy enough to do zone 2 on a bike, but to run in zone 2, I can pretty much guarantee most people don't, because you've got to warm up considerably first, even to get your VO2 kinetics right before you even start running. And most people aren't economical enough in order to be able to sustain it. So I take people back and I get them to run fast first. So, and that's probably going to go against what people think, but if you teach people to run properly, teach them to build their speed up, run at the right speed, and then just extend the time at those speeds, running at the speed you want to run at. You've got to be incredibly efficient. I mean, someone like Eliud Kipchoge could run in zone 2. Yeah, you see what I mean? But a lot of runners aren't that efficient. So when you're trying to run in zone 2, you're actually running slower than you should be mechanically, and that could hurt your joints. So you've got to find that optimal speed. There is, there's a science behind it. They've tested it. They know what they're doing.
That's interesting. I've found that actually with my own training. When I try and slow down into HR2, it's actually just compounds more and more and more. The questions I would have, much simpler than that one, is what do you enjoy most about running?
It's not so much the physical side. It's the skill set. I'm fascinated by being highly skilled at things, and running, especially running on the trails and the mountains, and just teaching people to run as well. And running marathons is not easy. It's incredibly hard. It's a skill. It really is. People tend to look at it as a physical challenge. I don't. It's a skill. It's like any sport. You can get yourself fit using multiple different things. Your body doesn't know you're, like I said, you're running. It's just so you can use different ways to keep fit, and then use running as a skill. It changes things.
Just very quickly, I'm going to get myself in trouble with the producers now because we're running out of time, but let's just bring it back to Dubai, because a lot of viewers out there will be going, yeah, we've seen the cycling tracks, yeah, we've seen all the great gyms, etc. But running in Dubai, you're having a laugh? But you can disprove that. There are the trails that you can do, the tracks. So it's an ideal place to train.
Fantastic place to train for any kind of like ultra trail or anything like that, or any kind of running. We've got amazing running facilities here. There are little tracks everywhere. But you've only got to step outside of Dubai for about an hour and you've got some amazing mountains. They're hard, don't get me wrong, but they are fantastic. And it's a whole different environment out there, it really is. Probably one of the best training environments I've ever been.
Wow.
Because you've got the heat of the summer, and that's hard, but you can use that to your advantage if you know what you're doing. I train through the summer. Desert.
Coastline.
Unbelievable. It really is. You've got such a diverse environment here. It can train you for anything. It really can.
Get off the treadmill.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Very true, very true.
Go out there, and there's a whole new world out there, really. A whole different world and environment to train in. It's fantastic.
Coach Lee, you are an absolutely fascinating individual. I've got so many questions for you. I want to know more. What was your toughest challenge? Blah, 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 blah. But look, we've run out of time, but you just need to come back.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Back? Yeah?
I would love to talk.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Ahmed, I think it's about that time where we test our co-hosts.
Yes, so we've got DXB and 60, and we're going to be alternating the questions between both of you just to get to know you better in 60 seconds.
Okay, you tell us about this. All right, what are you going to ask?
So I'm going to cue the clock in 3, 2, 1. Paris, what was your first job?
I think I cleaned the toilets of a nightclub.
Okay, and James, and this question can be for the both of you. What is the hardest challenge to date?
To date, my hardest challenge was probably a 24-hour row, but this is going to probably surpass that for sure.
Yeah, mine was also a row, 39 days across the Pacific.
Okay, James, your go-to restaurant in Dubai?
Oh, that's a tough one. It has to be either it's pizza. Yeah,
Pizza.
yeah, for sure.
My favorite.
But a good pizza. It cannot be a multi-chain.
True. And Paris, best way to unwind after a stressful day?
I put on Friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. A superpower you wish you had?
Oh, that's a tough one. Run quicker.
Okay. What would be yours?
I love to be able to eat as much as I like without getting fatter.
Okay.
That would be great.
I like that. And an adventurer you would love to meet, dead or alive?
Or maybe Shackleton.
Okay. And just because we're running out of time, why Dubai? And that's for both of you.
Because it's the most bombastic city on the planet.
Yeah, been here 16 years, call it my home, love it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
Fellas, thanks for being our guest co-host duo. Yeah, I think so. Perfect pair for us today. All the best with the training, the final preparations ahead of the challenge. Quick reminder of the dates.
31st of January to the 6th of February.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we'll be able to follow all the progress, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, online, etc.
Yeah. Strides are good.
James and Paris, thank you very much indeed for both of you. And Coach, thank you so much indeed for coming on in.
Pleasure.
Giving us your expertise as well. Told you, we're going to raise the bar when it comes to investing in yourself, but you lot can't go anywhere just yet. Coming up next, we've got music from the amazing Yana Mann. That's coming your way